Mario feat R2D2.
Can you believe that they sampled R2D2 for Mario 60D2?
Welcome to Gameography.
Okay. What is this the podcast about?
Wait. Welcome to Gameography.
There we go. That's better.
The podcast. Okay, I can't do it if you just say that. Can't continue after that.
Welcome
to
Gameography. The game about people.
The game about people? The podcast about people.
And the games who make them.
Wow, we're in a silly mood today, I guess.
Oh boy. Oh, watch out, guys. It's a silly one.
We got a real wacky game today.
Oh boy. More like the Outer Wackies.
More like the Outer Wildies.
More like the Outer Wilds. Because you're wild and wacky.
You're wild and wacky guy.
We're about to get Outer Wild.
Outer Wilds, you may be saying.
Now, you at home may be asking, Outer Wilds? Outer Wilds
What?
2? Outer Wilds what?
That is not a Shigeru Miyamoto game. And you're correct.
Yeah, you'd be right. That's fair. Tough but fair criticism.
Tough,
that isn't
but
a game
fair.
by Miyamoto.
Yeah.
But what we'll come to find out is that it actually is.
It has perhaps surprising connections.
Surprising. I'm ready to be surprised. Are you? This game was ghost written by Shigeru Miyamoto. Miyamoto. By the way,
Yeah.
the note that I take all my notes in for this podcast is called Miyamoto.
I hope that's actually true. You're not just saying
No,
that.
that's for real.
Okay, good. You know, all of like the writings that you have to translate in the Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah.
That's actually all just Japanese that Miyamoto wrote.
It's just Miyamoto's personal diary. The guy who made Outer Wilds just found his diary and put it in the game to own him. It's weird that Japanese is just like a bunch of swirlies.
Little swirly guys, yeah.
Swirly guys.
Oh,
Outer Wilds. What a game. I mean, right off the bat, you're translating little swirlies.
Right off the bat, you're translating little swirlies.
I mean, need I say more?
The game.
That's the whole game. Devin, it is though. It really is.
Okay, Tim, when was it? Probably like last summer when you played it?
Oh no,
Or
I
when you
think
got
it was the beginning of 2020, like January.
Really? Okay.
I believe. I remember
January?
I remember, maybe that's not true. I remember reading about it on some list of like the best games of 2019, I think. Was it 2019?
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you learned of it and everything.
Yeah, I was like reading some stupid list about some stupid video games that were like came out some stupid year called 2019, and then it was on there and the description was awesome. So
Yeah.
How did you find out about it?
I mean, the same thing. Yeah, like I heard about it from like best game of the year lists,
and then you saw me tell you to play it for months until you did.
I mean, basically, yeah. Like I did. I always I wanted to play it since I heard about it, but I just didn't. Because first it was like on PC, it was like an Epic Games exclusive at first.
Really?
And
oh my
it
gosh!
didn't come out on Steam until the summer, I think.
Oh,
so I remember
wow.
when it came out on when I saw it on the store in the summer, like I was like, ooh, I think I put it on my wish list. And
to quote Devin, he said, "Ooh," and then
ooh.
Oof. F at the end.
I bonked my head.
Yeah, on a planet flying through space.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the first point, which is that you fly through space in this game.
Yeah, I guess we should just describe what the game is a little bit.
Man, this game, opening shot of, I don't remember, what has it? Oh, opening shot.
Campfire.
A marshmallow.
You got a stick?
You got a stick?
And a marshmallow. Do you have the marshmallow at first, or do you have to stick the marshmallow
you
on
stick
it?
the marshmallow.
Yeah.
So the game opens with a campfire marshmallow simulator. That's very
That's
accurate.
exactly what I was going to say.
How many minutes did you spend? I think I might have spent a full 10 to 15. I think I spent at least an hour just roasting marshmallows.
I think I did like 2 marshmallows. So yeah, about an hour.
Takes a long time to get them perfectly crispy.
Yeah. No, I just stuck it. I think the first one I just stuck directly into the flames and I caught fire, and then you just eat it anyway. So
Yeah.
I mean,
honestly, I think I did it.
You're an alien, so
15 times.
Who knows what you're like? I guess
You like aliens? I was gonna say you like marshmallows, but marshmallows are aliens in a sense.
In a very real sense.
Very real sense.
They're probably the most alien substance on Earth. That I can think of.
Yeah. I think that's maybe that was like the kind of the connection of that being the first part of this game. Is it saying like, look at this thing that we know that is kind of like an alien? You're that.
Wait, you're a marshmallow?
Yeah, an alien, yes.
Oh, okay.
In a way of speaking.
I mean, you never like you don't ever see yourself, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think
like there's no mirrors in the game, so
yeah, no. You look down and you can see your. Do you know what I'm talking about? When I did a
flayed your body open.
I swear, he has like this body shape. Your person, they do, and it's like this tummy that's like so like thin and round.
You're talking about like your silhouette.
No. Can't you see yourself if you look straight down? Am I imagining that?
Maybe you can.
I think you can. How many arms do they have? Do they have 2 arms?
No.
Just 4?
Oh yeah, just 2. Yeah, just 2.
Just the 2? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The other guys? They have
the other guys? The Nomai?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. The Nomai.
Yeah. Okay, so the premise of the game
actually the premise
is you are a space explorer guy from this planet, and
a marshmallow.
You eat a marshmallow.
No, you are a marshmallow.
You are a marshmallow. Unconfirmed fan theory, but you are a marshmallow. Okay. So you go to space, and there are 4 or 5 other like guys of your species that are out on different planets.
Yeah, I believe there are 4.
So there are other people who have gone exploring the solar system before, but you're like the next guy to go.
It's like it seems like it's almost like a rite of passage for the people, your little tribe living on this tiny little planet.
Yeah, well, it seems like certain people are like chosen to be that, and it's like there's not that many people on that planet.
There's like honestly like 10 of them, like 15. Kind of doesn't actually make sense.
Yeah, because like, and there's like a few kids, but it's like, where are the who are the parents?
There's fewer than 10 houses.
Exactly.
Because there might be some unseen people in those houses theoretically, but where do they all live? If not there. I don't know. This is we're already raising some interesting points here that kind of aren't adding up.
So you go into space, and there's really they don't give you any like objective. It's kind of like
basically it's like enjoy it. Literally, it's like the whole premise is like, okay, enjoy space.
Well, so like but before you can leave the planet, you have to talk to this guy to get your launch codes, and this is something that the developers talked about of like, I don't think it was in their original their original plan or like the original way that they wrote it, because people were like just like, I don't know like what I'm supposed what am I supposed to do, like no one's like told me what to do.
Yeah, really.
And they had the guy that you get the launch codes for ask you what you want to do, and they give you like 5 dialogue options that you can respond by, so that like kind of gives you some thoughts of like, these are like some of the things I could do. I think it's like, like one of them is like go to the moon and like see that guy who's on the moon. And then there's like other ones.
Because you do have these certain kind of like strings of like loose ends of things that it mentions in the kind of this intro tutorial period, where there's a museum and you see certain like
you see like artifacts from different planets.
And there's also just like models of different planets.
And then there's also on on Timberhearth, the planet you start on, there's like the guy in like the observatory or whatever who's like, some comets just fell from the sky, or they're like, whatever, and you're like, I've gone to go investigate. So there's like things, but they're like, it, you can go do whatever you want after you leave.
I think that comet was the first thing I did in the game, basically.
Really?
After like getting my keys.
It was one of the like first things I did, but no, I went into space. But
that's reasonable. I think I might have flown into the sun and then tried again and did that, something like that. Just immediately died.
So yeah. So the other thing is, at the beginning of the game, you you get this power basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
It's
die,
called the Bill Murray power.
yeah,
Or Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
He has a movie where it's like that.
Oh,
he has
is it
Groundhog's Day, Edge of Tomorrow or something?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
That you saw with your dad in like high school or whatever?
Wow, maybe.
I remember you talking about it.
I do really like that movie.
Yeah.
The part of the reason that this game is one of my favorite games ever is because I have like a weird obsession with with this
Time loop.
Yeah, like time loop media. Like it's like it could be a whole genre. Like Groundhog's Day is like
yeah. So like anytime you die, you get transported back to like the beginning of the game, but you have all your memories.
Yeah.
And also after
what, like
22 minutes, I believe it is.
Yeah.
The universe explodes. The sun explodes.
Oh,
and you die from that, obviously, and it'll send you back. So you only have 22 minutes to explore before you get sent back.
Man, I guess people wouldn't. Do we need to put like a spoiler warning here?
Oh, I was gonna say like, yeah,
because already I guess you probably would know that
I mean, it's cool if you don't know that, but like that's not really a spoiler.
Yeah,
like.
Oh, because I mean, I think I knew it was coming, but still, the first time that the controller started rumbling and I heard that sound, I was like, "Oh!" Boy.
I didn't know. Yeah, I honestly did not know what was happening for like the first like 6 or 7 times. Like I just know that like a light came.
Oh yeah,
and like the music would come, and I'd be like, "Okay, I don't know what's happening, but I guess I'm going back in time."
Yeah, it took a while before I actually like was out in space enough.
Exactly.
Spoiler alert. For the rest of this,
to
see that then like the explosion.
Yeah, but I was gonna say like if like obviously this is you said it's one of your favorite games like ever. Probably like one of mine.
Oh wow! Okay.
I mean, I don't know where I'd put it, but like it's
if only we had a list.
It's very very good. I've like and like the whole like more so than almost any other game. Like if it's spoiled, it's like.
Yeah.
Like you kind of like are missing the whole point of it because
because we haven't actually said the real premise. We're just describing, you're an alien, whatever, you're a marshmallow. And the thing that makes this game crazy is that it's essentially like an open world Metroidvania where you have to get past certain areas or access certain things. It's all based on knowledge that you find by talking to different people on the different planets, by exploring and just finding out things randomly, and by translating all of the Nomai texts that are written in this crazy swirly language and scattered all over this broken universe you find yourself in. Oh, it's so fun. It's so great.
So I was going to say, like we are going to like talk about spoiler stuff.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
At various points, I'm sure. So
and it's like if you
haven't
spoil
played
the game, it's like ruins it.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried to play it again because I missed playing it so much like earlier this year.
Yeah,
and I couldn't because it's like you're not really learning anything. I'm literally.
I mean, you can still like go and like jump around and
I did
kind of enjoy it.
Crashed into some planets. It was fun.
Yeah,
but I'm literally I'm gonna try to not read or think about this game at all for the next like year or two so that I can then play it again having forgotten most of it.
It's on PC, PS4, and Xbox.
It should be on Switch. I mean, it could totally run on the Switch. I don't know why it's.
I don't think it could. Like
really?
Because we'll get into. Did you watch that? Also, if you're interested in this game, you should watch that. No clip documentary on.
It's basically going to be like this, but better.
It's really well done.
I watched the first chunk of it because I had watched, I think, all of it before, and so
they talk about like programming challenges at a certain point. So I mean, I'm sure if they like did certain things, they could get it to work on a Switch, but I don't think like the way it is now it would work on a Switch. Because so there's like you have your guy, and then you have your like scout or whatever, the thing you can shoot that takes pictures, and then you have your ship, and so they're like those are 3 different entities. And then you have all of the planets that are like in real time moving through space. So they have to like keep track of all of that because it's actually all like they talk about how they specifically wanted like they like simplify things when you're not near the planet so that it doesn't take as much resources to like simulate it. But there's like a couple things. One, if you leave your scout on one planet, go to another planet, they have to simulate both planets.
Oh my gosh!
They can't
yeah.
like they were like we couldn't like
because you're getting a live video feed from your
exactly.
scout.
You can take a
it
picture
is.
whenever you want.
Yeah, and that is definitely one of the things that adds to like the remarkable nature of this game is that, like for example, there's the black hole or white hole or whatever, like the time warp thing, or space
black
warp.
hole, yeah, people know what black hole is.
Yeah, people know what black hole is. And it like sends you to the far other side of the map, and it's like it'll do that, and it'll still show you exactly where your ship or the scout is back on the original.
So that's
planet,
the other thing.
And
if your
really
ship is somewhere else too, they have to simulate that place too. Because like if, for example, you're on the Ash Twin project place and the sand catches it, then it moves to the other planet. Or if it's on
the Brittle Hollow.
Well, yeah,
and
so
then
that
crash.
Or if it's on Giant's Deep and like the tornado catches it and throws it into space.
Wow.
They have to keep track of it. So they said like the worst possible thing you could do as a player is have your ship on one planet, your scout on another planet, and then you on a third planet.
Yeah.
And they said that they wanted to put in an achievement called like break my like game or something like that, because it would like it, and then their publisher like made them take it out because they're like, you can't have an achievement that is like encouraging people to like break their PS4s.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and because like on any of the given planets you just mentioned, there's like a lot of moving pieces.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like both like going down into the depths of the physical planet that it's like I'm sure have to also be kind of running in the background. So it's like,
and then and also on top of that, what they talk about is like the planet then itself, because it's like so different than like your typical like how video games are typically made, where it's just like flat, everything's flat, where everything's like a sphere. It's like way harder to actually like make and render and stuff, because it's like super weird geometry and stuff.
I didn't even actually think of that, because it's, I mean, the planets are planets, but they are still quite small. It's kind of like Mario Galaxy. If the is that the reference?
I mean, yeah.
And but it's like on top of the fact that in Mario Galaxy it's more like a ball for most of them, right? But in this it's like Brittle Hollow is like a fully formed structure of different little areas that then are constantly falling in upon each other.
So okay, so here's the thing. So Alex Beecham, who's like the guy who came up with Outer Wilds as his thesis project, master's project at USC in like the game program, whatever they have. He obviously references Mario. Like first of all, he references Zelda.
Yeah, actually, that's funny that comes up like way more, I feel like, than Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, but he also does mention Mario Galaxy, and then like that, like the whole like small planets thing is very much influenced from Mario Galaxy. Specifically, I played Mario Galaxy just this past week. The very first real level you get to is literally Brittle Hollow. It's a planet where the parts of that you're walking on are falling into a black hole that's in the middle of the planet. No joke. And also,
wait, the first like I played like an hour or two of that game. I don't remember that.
It's like it's like it's before you get to the like Rosalina's ship thing.
Oh, okay, wow. I guess I just somehow didn't notice that.
I mean, yeah, if you're not thinking about it, because also just all like that is like the most like direct.
Yeah.
But then also just like they use a black hole at the center of the planet all the time in Mario Galaxy, so that if you fall, then you like get sucked into the black hole, and that's like their "you died" thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they obviously like expand upon that idea a whole lot in this, but that was just amazing to see.
That is so funny. Yeah.
I was not expecting that, but then as far as the Zelda stuff, he specifically talks about like a section in Wind Waker where there's a guy running a photo shop where he like shows you photos of different places in the world, and you can go like check them out if you want. And I assume there's like stuff to find there, but he just liked the idea of like
going by your own curiosity.
Exactly.
Being driven by your curiosity.
Yeah, just like seeing something and be like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll see if I can find that. But it's not required at all. And just like the whole concept in general seems like it's very inspired by Zelda. Like going back to like the first Zelda, which was like probably like the most directly that, where it's like they don't tell you anything.
And it's also kind of the same as like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, where Majora's Mask is also a time loop.
Majora's Mask, they also mentioned that a lot of people on the team were Majora's Mask fans. So
that's great.
But I have a quote about that later on.
Okay. But in the way that in Majora's Mask, I'm sure in Ocarina of Time there's a lot of this too, where it's like you see the entrance to different areas, but it's like you need whatever power up to get there. Yeah. And it's the same thing, but with knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm pointing to my brain
with your noggin. Yeah. So in 2012, that's when he started working on it as his thesis project, and it was just like it was basically like the same idea, just like his pitch basically was like you go explore this galaxy just because you want to see what's out there. Like it doesn't give you any objectives or anything.
And then also wasn't it based on a bunch of different projects he had done throughout his time at the school, where he had like one class that involved making a planet that fell in upon itself, and then one class where he had to build a spaceship that kind of had a realistic gravity and stuff moving around, and that he ended up kind of combining those elements into Outer Wilds.
I think to some extent, yeah. He said that there was like one I don't know about the planet one, but I think
that might be wrong.
I think that came later, but like
after he played Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, he hadn't played Mario Galaxy by 2012. I think the ship one is correct. It was just like make something that like moves around. Or, I don't remember. I don't know what his assignment was, but then there was another one that he specifically talked about that was like a world building assignment. That was like find. I don't remember what it is. Like find like the emotional like core of your game or something, and that's when I think he talked about having like the roasting the marshmallows thing and like watching the sun explode, and then he was like, okay, like this is what the game's going to be about, kind of like figuring out that. And he talks about like I think is like a backpacker.
Oh,
and that's kind of like where like the whole like camping motif kind of comes from.
That
like,
makes a lot of sense.
All the characters have their own little campfire, and you can go roast marshmallows wherever you go to find them on the planets.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I feel like every time I meant to look this up, does he have any connection to the Northwest? Because I felt like the whole Timberhearth planet is like very like with the pine trees, like it's very much like a camping planet of like
oh for sure. Well, I mean,
and just with the pine
obviously
trees.
They're in like. Obviously, he was going to school in California.
Oh,
I think I did read that it's like based on either somewhere in California or Washington or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's a backpacker going to school in California.
No, so this is later once they like were like a part of a company and stuff, but they hired an art director guy, and they based each of the planets on a national park.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, so
that's cool.
So Timberhearth is based on like some national park. I think in California maybe or something like that.
Wow.
Like the trees and everything. And then, I do not remember what the other ones are. They're like somehow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So after he graduated, he went and worked at Microsoft for a few years. And then like for a game studio there. And then for this weird game I'd never heard of called Project Spark, which was like Dreams on PS4.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like it was like trying to be that kind of where it was like weird. Make your own like experiences and games and stuff and like
weird.
Like movies and stuff in this weird thing.
Did that ever come out?
It came out, yeah. It's like shut down now, where like you can't like download stuff anymore and whatever. But
wow.
Yeah, it seems like it didn't really like take off.
Wasn't the smash hit that Dreams is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if Dreams was really a smash hit, but like probably more on Twitter. or something. But
all I've ever seen is videos of like really bad Sonic games and stuff like being made in it.
I feel like all I've seen is like Star Wars and like like famous like characters being remade in it and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are apparently like people who like made projects in there and then like got hired by like,
really?
Yeah, because they were like really good.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but so then he was kind of like continuing to work on Outer Wilds a little bit on the side, I guess, while he was working there. And then in 2014, the guy that he worked on his thesis with, who was working at Mobius Games, which is like a new company, started at the time, and like asked him if he wanted to like come and make Outer Wilds, basically.
And that's where the magic started.
Yeah. So, and it was still like kind of like a student project, even though they were like, I guess like technically like a professional studio at that point. It was like basically like all still like the same like students who had worked on it, I think, for the most part. One interesting thing is like, I don't know when exactly this happened, but he talked about in some interviews like for like the story or just like kind of like figuring out how things were going to like work like narrative wise, they did like this like paper and pen role playing session where he like I think he like DM'd it or something, and like they would like just like talk about like, okay, I'm flying to this planet, and then like that's where they came up with like what he calls the 4 major mysteries of Outer Wilds, like on the Ash Twin Project, the Quantum Moon, the Vessel and Dark Bramble, and the Second Probe on Giant's Deep. Those were to them, that was like he came up with those like 4, and it was like, okay, this is what you're going to be trying to figure out.
So he came up with that through DMing this pen and paper game.
That's what he says. Yeah.
Wow.
Like I'm sure it was like probably in a different state a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, did you know his sister is the writer of the game?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So
I thought he would have been. So was that just like she did all the dialogue and stuff?
I think, yeah, I'm sure like, they came up with like the broad stuff together, but like, yeah, she's like the writer on it, which is cool. And
that is cool. I agree.
Let's see.
Do you have any information about her?
There wasn't. She's in that documentary a little bit. She lives in like North Carolina or something. So like she didn't actually like work in the like office with them, but I think she would just like, I don't know, Skype in or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, she was just like working on the dialogue and stuff. She talked about how hard it was to like, not make like to actually make characters and not just like, because like there's so little text, and like you have to, their main point is to like just to convey like information to you, so you can like figure things out. But like also trying to make it so that there's actual characters who are like have like interesting stories too.
Because it is like, I mean, the actual characters you interact with are such a minor part of the game where it's like the vast majority of it is you essentially exploring like the ruins of this past civilization.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like. The funny thing is like, I don't like, to me, the characters that I think about are not the ones that you like, not the other like guys on the planets for the most part.
Yeah.
It's like the people who've left their writings. Yeah. And you can kind of like figure out their like relationships to each other and stuff.
I did really enjoy that. Yeah. Although I had a very hard time keeping track of the people. Like
100%. Yeah.
Like the names and everything just kind of, I never really like grasped the names.
Like towards the end, like I had, you like kind of can figure out.
Yeah.
How some of them are interrelated and stuff. You kind of get the pieces together, but it's like pretty hard.
And it is one of honestly the best parts of all those written parts, all those written covers, is like seeing them essentially conversing with each other. And,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of just silly, but the when they make the jokes that are like poorly translated, oh, like what is it like you must be pulling my
gravitational
limb or something.
Yeah,
I don't say pulling my leg.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could remember the exact quote, but I think those are very funny.
Yeah, those are great. Yeah, and That's funny. I wasn't even like thinking of that as like a weird translation. That does totally make sense because you just have like this like experimental translation device.
Yeah.
But like I was just thinking of like that species is like so like technical.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
To like that's just like how they talk.
Yeah. Another aspect of the writing that I meant to look this up myself just out of curiosity when I was playing it, but I wondered if it's written. Is there anything in your notes about the way that the what's the name of the main your species? Did we ever know that?
I don't know. I think it probably is said, but I don't know.
They are like not gendered. And it took me like half the game to realize. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where they all use they, them pronouns, and then I at first I was like, oh, that's just they just put that in there, and then I realized that they don't do that for the Nomai, and I found that so interesting that they just made that an aspect.
Yeah, because like spoilers, the one Nomai you meet is a girl, which
I forgot that.
Yeah, which like I feel like I didn't realize that until like. I was like maybe even like after I met them or something. I don't know. But anyway.
That part's so great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened until after I finished the game and I was reading about it.
Really?
And I saw that was a thing that I had just missed.
Wow.
And I literally just started the game, or I went back and did that.
So you didn't
thing.
do the Quantum Moon like at all, basically?
No, I had. I don't know how I had not met that person though.
I mean, that's like the last thing on the Quantum Moon. Like not just going to it.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that.
The Quantum Moon was like the most exciting thing to me
for
the game.
Yeah.
Like after I did that, I was like, I don't really know what else to do. Like
yeah, I think that I might have done that kind of at the very end because that was like
I did that kind of in the middle.
Oh,
like,
weird.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, like towards the end, but not like.
Is that how you get to the Eye of the Universe? It's on the Quantum Moon, right?
You can see the Eye of the Universe from there.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not how you get to the center of the universe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I still did that pretty close to the end because
you kind of have to.
I had a very hard time figuring out that kind of like puzzle or whatever that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And how to? Oh yeah, because I had to look up how you actually get into the tower that's blocked. I
was going to ask if you looked anything up.
Yeah, I looked that up. That might be among the only things I looked up, though. Maybe like a little thing here or there, but for the most part,
The only thing I looked up was like basically the last thing you have to do, and they actually talk about. I couldn't really find out what they changed, but they actually talked about like on the like how you get into the Ash Twin project, like how you teleport there.
Remind me.
So you're like on
you're
on the
twin?
Ash Twin.
Yeah.
And you're like the...
Oh, and you have to like stand in that one room.
So the sand doesn't get you, but then run over to the other thing and teleport.
Yeah, I had to look that up too. You're reminding me.
Apparently it was even harder before because they said they like patched it to like make it easier to figure out because like people were just not getting it.
Yeah. And I think
go ahead.
I figured it out, but I tried it over and over and I was like, clearly this is wrong because this is not possible. And that's when I had to look it up.
Yeah, well, I know. Me too. Like, I knew what you had to do. I just, like, I don't know why this isn't working.
Yeah.
Because, like, the sand would come get me, or I would, like...
Yeah.
Or it would be, like, too late, and the window would have passed,
Wait, so what did you have to do?
So there's, like, the room on the right that has the teleport, like, rock, like, black hole core or whatever. Yeah. And then the room on the left that has a ceiling. So you have to wait in the room with the ceiling until the sand is, like... just passed, and then you can run over really quick and it'll teleport you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was definitely too hard.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's like a quote of him saying like, yeah, like by the time it came out and everything, like we like realized it was really hard and like that it didn't really make sense. Like, like it made sense to us.
Yeah.
But like we were like too like deep into it or whatever.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So yeah. I think there was kind of a lot of things like that probably as they were making the game. Mm-hmm. They talked about how important the like play testing process was, like watching people play it and seeing what they did.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And then they also he also talked about like there's a like there was a period where they just had to like start cutting things out because they were like, okay, they would add things that were like just kind of like world building things that you could find and stuff, but they didn't really like tell you anything.
Yeah.
And people would like spend a bunch of time being like, what is this trying to tell me? Like, what is this? Like, how does this fit in with everything? And they'd be like, okay, this is just like drawing people away. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
They talked about having these like lighthouses on planets that, I guess like the Nomai would have used to like send signals to each other by like lights, and you could like use it, like you could like turn it on and like send lights. But they were like, people were just getting confused because they were like, this should do something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's like that. I think there are a good amount of things in there that are just like little world building moments, but anything too big feels like it's the whole start of a new train of thought.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's his quote about Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is a favorite among our teams. We'd be lying if we said it didn't have a big influence on the game. The sense of impending doom. In particular, the music that plays during the final 2 minutes was very much inspired by Termina's lunar predicament.
Oh, that's interesting.
Despite their obvious similarities, I do think the two games use time loops in very different ways. Majora's Mask creates this complex schedule of events that lets you play around with causality, whereas Outer Wilds' time loop primarily exists to allow the creation of large-scale dynamic systems. Certain irreversible processes like the destruction of Brittle Hollow just wouldn't make sense if you never reset the clock.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do think like still they're pretty similar. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not as like well versed in Majora's Mask as you probably, but
I think it's like they're essentially the same thing, but at such different scales that it fully changes the way you use it. Because like in Majora's Mask, you don't really have much of a sense of, I need to hurry up and do this really quick or else I'm going to explode, which is like how I feel like you feel the whole time you play Outer Wilds. And in Outer Wilds, there's not as much of the different scheduled events. Yeah. Because in Majora's Mask, you're constantly talking to people in town who are walking to from one place to another. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like that's mostly just, the sand filling up on. Yeah,
there's usually two states of like a world, more or less. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'd say like Brittle Hollow is the most. Yeah, Brittle Hollow is the most complex, where it's just falling apart constantly until there's like almost nothing left.
Yeah, and it's almost like that might be the only example of where you have to do something at a particular time of day, right? So thinking of like the part that you can't access, and then you have to wait till it gets sent into space.
Yeah. And then that whole thing, my God.
I think I actually had to look that one up too, because I could not figure it out.
I think I like looked up something about that, but I still like I didn't know, or I was like I just looked up like because you have to get to like the Tower of Quantum Entanglement.
Oh yeah,
is what it is. And I was just like, okay, where is it? And I was like, okay. I looked it up and I was like, okay, I'm there. But I spent so long trying to get in, and then I just like it just happened that I got sucked into the black hole.
Oh my gosh.
Like I assume that's how you're supposed to find out. Because like then I was like, oh my God, I can go in. And then I went in. Like I think I just like spent too much time. And so like I had like the music started and I was like, no. And like I didn't get everything, so I had to do it again. Like I couldn't read everything that was in there.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. But I mean, it was amazing, like the feeling of figuring that out.
God, I wish that's what had happened to me. I clearly just gave up way quicker than you, where I saw that I couldn't get in, I just left.
Yeah. It's obviously a little bit of a roguelike, but he talked about that they actually talked about like making it more of a roguelike, where you would have like before you left the planet, you would like pick out your like which tools you're gonna take.
Oh, so, that like, would have been cool.
You'd have like specialized tools for different kinds of terrain, like climbing icy mountains or going in like the cave system. But he said that they just basically dropped that because they weren't interested in that.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, it would have made it more complicated, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like we're clearly seeing that there is a version of this game that could have existed that's like way more massive in scope and with way more kind of like systems and different aspects to the gameplay.
Yeah,
And I would love to play that game. I love it how it is, but
yeah, I mean, I like how simple it is. Like where really all you do is just walk.
Yeah,
like,
that is true.
And then obviously, like you jump and like use your gas to like boost around and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, because I like that you can like, I think that would have been detrimental in the sense that like you show up on a planet and then it's like, oh, I didn't have the right stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't know that when I got here. It's like you can just go anywhere in Outer Worlds and immediately, if you like know where to go, or you're just kind of like wandering around, like you can just go basically.
Also, I think part of the beauty of the game is that it's like, while the story and all the information is so vast and complex, the gameplay is essentially 5 elements,
it's like walk and jump.
And just like don't run out of oxygen, don't run out of health, don't run out of gas, and then don't explode your ship. And it's like, just with those 4 things, it reminds me of Minecraft, where you have just very simple parameters that yield like the most dramatic moments that could not have possibly been scripted. Moments where I would crash my ship and it's just barely working, and then you have to get to someplace right before the time runs out and you're out of oxygen.
So after working on it for a year, they released an alpha build of the game for free online, which I'm sending you a screenshot of now that you can look at your phone, I guess.
Devin, are we going to tweet that?
I mean, yeah.
We're going to tweet that? Where are we going to tweet that, Devin?
I'm glad you asked. At GameographyPod.
Oh, on Twitter.com.
Twitter.com/GameographyPod.
r/GameographyPod.twitter.com. This is a cool screenshot.
Yeah, I think this is from Giants Deep, I'm guessing. Like, the place where it's like they made like the forge, they made the masks.
Yeah.
I think that's what this is. So this is what the Nomai looked like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this is obviously when they were still like a pretty small team.
Yeah. This looks like an earlier version of the game. I like that light plant. Was that ever in it?
The art director who came on later said that when he saw the game for the first time, he said it looked like an N64 game.
I forgot that part of that quote. Yeah. Yeah, that looks like an N64 game.
Yeah.
Which, come on.
And then in 2015, the Outer Wilds won the grand prize at the Independent Games Festival. They were up against Invisible Inc., The Talos Project, This War of Mine, and some other games. But, I mean, those are all, like, well-regarded games at this point. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously that got them a lot of attention. While they were working on the game, because obviously, flash forward in time, it didn't come out until 2019.
Yeah, that is a huge gap.
Yeah, that's 4 years. While they were working on the game, they also worked on like a couple of mobile games, I think, just to like make money. Well,
okay.
It's weird. Like, I feel like some of them, like, you can't even download it anymore. So I don't know. Like, I found a Reddit post. I was like, I think it was like after playing Outer Wilds, somebody was like, "Oh, I want to play like their like thing," and I can't find it. Like, does anyone have a download link? And like, no, like I think somebody eventually found it. I didn't try downloading it, but
are they considered to be good?
I don't really know. There's like really not a lot about them.
Wow, that's interesting. I would definitely play that.
And then also in 2015, probably based around like the hype from them winning, they launched a Fig campaign. Have you heard of Fig?
No. What is that?
I'd never heard of it.
The plant?
Yes.
In your backyard?
They planted a bunch of figs.
Mm-hmm.
They launched a campaign to plant a bunch of figs. And
that's a noble campaign. We need more figs. Figs really are among the most underrated fruit, in my opinion.
They're a very noble fruit, for sure.
They are very noble. There is a nobility to the fig.
They also, I feel like, you know, I think of figs as purple. Is that weird?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And like I feel like, Outer Wilds has a very purple like motif. Like all of the like Nomai stuff is purple, like glows purple. You know.
Yeah.
You know?
This makes a lot of Devin's making emotion with his hands. This all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Why they would launch a campaign of exclusively figs.
So Fig was at the time a brand new website that is like a Kickstarter like thing. So they were the very first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like we need more of those websites.
No. I mean, it was after Kickstarter, obviously.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was after like the Kickstarter we did.
Okay, yeah.
In like high school. So,
I'm just gonna drop that piece of information.
But the idea for Fig, so it was made specifically for video games, basically.
Okay.
And then also, like the thing that made it different was that you could invest in the games.
Oh.
Or in the projects, not just like get rewards. You know.
Yeah.
So you could like. If you like, you couldn't just spend like $10 or whatever. If you spent like $1,000 or $500,
oh, wow, okay,
you could like then get, you know, I don't know, I couldn't really find any details, but like you get some percentage of the profits, you know, like it's just investing how any other thing is. And they just barely made it to their $125,000 goal. I like because it's the page is still up there.
Oh wow,
it's 126,000 is what they got.
Wow.
Also, very interesting on that page. It seems like seems like what it's saying is that the game was going to release in 2016.
Oh wow!
So
happen.
Don't really know what happened there, but they obviously just like kept needing more time.
Yeah, someone got distracted roasting all the marshmallows.
Yeah, they roasted like 3 or 4 marshmallows and a year passed.
Oh wow, it's 2019.
So development stretched into 2018 when Annapurna Interactive, who's the publisher of Journey and What Remains of Edith Finch, so like kind of like prestige indie games, it's kind of like their thing.
Yeah.
They bought out the rights to it from the Fig investors, so that they could publish it. And then they gave them more money to make the game. So they had like another year to work on it. And then it was released in May of 2019. One thing that they talked about that like that what they changed and like really they think like made it successful like towards the very end was they were still noticing that people would like, you know, play for a while and then they'd be like, okay, I don't know where to go. Like, I don't know what I should do. So they added the
information map
thing? The web map thing where it would like show the connections between different things.
Wow, yeah, because
that was not in there.
That game without that would be infinitely more difficult. I mean, you could really only play it by taking those notes yourself then. That's absolutely what I would have done if I didn't have that.
So they talked about, they did have apparently like the version where it's like by the planets.
Oh yeah,
but I
never used that.
I actually ended up using that towards the end more. I found that more helpful towards the end, but at the beginning, I was like, how would this help?
Yeah.
But so like it's like essentially they were like, okay, we have our own little map of like how all these things interconnect. Why don't we just like put that in the game? That's basically how it happened.
Yeah. And
like it, you know, it unlocks new things as you figure them out, so you don't have to like you're saying, take your own notes.
Yeah. And it kind of I think it does a good job of guide. It's like a quest. Whatever chart thing,
because you can find there'll be like cards and you can find out something about it, but they'll be like there's more about this thing, like it's not filled in.
Although one of the most frustrating aspects of the game was that there was one thing on the ocean planet, I already forgot the name of it, Giant Steep, that the entire time I played the game I had an exclamation point there that I never could get resolved, and I know there was nothing else for me to resolve there.
You went in, like, did you go down to the bottom?
I did everything in that place. It was like one of the very first things, just for some reason. Like there was some.
I had nothing left when I did literally everything. I think. I mean, I'm sure there was some things I didn't see, but like I had nothing left to fill in.
Oh wow.
So like towards the end of the game, once you get into, obviously major spoilers. Obviously, you've already listened to this point, but once you go into the Ash Twin project,
You say Ass Twin?
once you go into the Ass Crack project,
Ass Crack project.
there's like that corridor, you know, where it's like all these conversations.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's like, if you miss anything, you can catch it up there. I was a little disappointed because I was like, wait, I've read all of this stuff. Like, I already know all of this.
I
Like,
remember
you're
that,
not telling me anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, obviously I understand why they have that because you could just get there.
You could, if you weren't really trying to get everything, you could very easily miss like whole chunks of that game, I think.
Yeah. Like, I honestly don't, like, the giant going to the like station on Giant's Deep was like one of the last things I did, I think.
Oh wow. Okay.
I feel like for some people that's like one of the first things they do.
Wait, just in Giant's Deep in general?
No. Like I had done everything except for getting to like the core of it.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I didn't really even learn anything there. By that point, it was like, okay, I've already figured out like everything.
Yeah, I don't even quite remember what was in there. I think I might have had a similar experience to you.
Yeah. Because I mean, at least for me, like I'm sure you could figure it out somehow yourself by like other clues, but I never figured it out until I went to the Dark Bramble and like you actually find the note of like Feldspar.
Oh yeah,
like,
where
he talks about riding in the jellyfish. Yeah.
That was. I don't even care if there was nothing inside of Giant's Deep though. Just being that jellyfish was so great.
Yeah. So like we said, it won a bunch of Game of the Year awards. One Game of the Year at Polygon, Eurogamer, Giant Bomb, and The Guardian, and then it was also on a bunch of like Game of the Decade lists last year.
Yeah, I support that. I plus one that as well.
Yeah. Must be pretty insane for them. Because like I feel like almost all of them except for maybe like the art guy, it's like their first game.
Yeah, that's true.
Like their first like real game to make. Like I don't know what he had done before, but yeah. Also, it's pretty amazing. I watched the trailer for they like had a trailer for their alpha release. They're like, you know, from 2015, and like the music is there. It's like the same song. He wrote more music, I think, for it. Yeah. But like the main theme, like with the banjo and everything, was there, and it was like, wow, that's amazing that was there the whole time.
That's.
So we didn't talk about the music, but the music is amazing.
Yeah, it really is, and the whole aspect of all the characters playing the instruments that you have to track down, and then you can get to that one point where you play all of them at once.
Are you talking about like, did you get the achievement where you like line them all up?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you not get that?
No, where can you do that?
I have no idea. I have zero clue. I think it was just totally random. We're on some planet.
You just have to wait for them all to line up.
Yeah,
because you have like and that's another really cool thing is you have that like sound radio thing. Yeah, so you can pick up sounds. Because I feel like I mean, obviously they tell you about it at the beginning and stuff, and I was like, okay, you can hear them playing their songs.
Yeah, I immediately dismissed it. I was like, this is gonna be dumb.
Yeah, but then once because then I realized it picks up other things too, not just them. And once I like realized that, I was like, oh, like I could actually like, because you can pick up the distress signals, and I was like, oh, there's one I haven't gotten, and then you can also pick up obviously like the quantum vibration or whatever. Oh yeah. Or like where the quantum moon is and other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is almost literary as well in just the way that in the beginning it's like you see all these motifs of different like in that first tutorial they tell you so many things that I immediately was like, okay, whatever, cool, that rock disappears when you're not looking at it, but it's
exactly all of it. That place is so weird. Like the. Yeah. Oh, that's one of the things that he like had a student assignment.
Oh, yeah.
Do something that's like, I don't remember what this. It was like do something that's like something does something unexpected or something like that. Yeah. And like that's what he came up with, and that made it into the game. Brilliant. Yeah.
And it's just that keeps on coming back in new interesting ways. I think the quest or whatever you want to call it, the whole side train of where you get on that rock on Ember Ash
on the
one of those
Ash
planets,
Twin,
it's the sandy Ash Twin. You get on that rock and then you have to turn out your lights and you keep on disappearing and appearing in new little areas. That That was one of my favorite parts of the whole game. I think especially because I think
that
I
was pretty frustrating for me.
Oh, really?
I was like, I feel like I knew what it was, but I like couldn't, because there's like, you have to go down to the very bottom, of that like canyon, and like the sand is filling up. You have to like,
you really have to go.
You really have to go fast.
Yeah,
and I was like, I feel like I know what I have to do, but like I just keep dying.
Yeah. That was. I think that's what made it so fun, was that it's like you're doing that, and at the same time watching the sand fill up made it so climactic.
Yeah,
and dramatic.
Yeah. See, I feel like I like all that stuff, and I like all the ways that like the planets like change and stuff, but also like it would annoy me because I'd be like, okay, now I just have to like wait here or whatever.
Honestly,
like sometimes
I think that planet, the sandy falling planet where everything is rising, that's the one time that bothered me, because there's that whole city where it's just like you have like a minute to get to that one really important part, like the lab or something to do with gravity, right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like a bunch of stuff in there. Yeah,
there's
I had to go there a lot.
Yeah. There is one room in particular that I think I literally would 10 times maybe I blasted off, like I was speedrun style, like trying to get to that planet immediately.
100%, me too. Yeah,
and then get down to that little spot, and it was very frustrating. Yeah.
Did you go to the? Did you get into like the room with the anglerfish fossil?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Oh my God,
that one. Yeah, that was. Was that frustrating?
It was for me a little bit, but I mean, it was just like,
I'm trying to think. I think I maybe accidentally almost stumbled upon that after kind of giving up on it.
Yeah, I think honestly for me a little bit too. Like, yeah, I think that planet. You said that was your favorite planet, but
when did I say that in this episode?
No, like when I was playing and I talked to you about it a little bit. I think
I said the ember, the sand.
I think so.
It doesn't sound like me. I don't think I said that.
I mean, my favorite was Brittle Hollow.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
But like, I feel like that one just has like the most stuff.
Yeah, and it's the most kind of like climactic.
Mm-hmm. Just like anytime you get near the black hole, I just like feel insane.
Yeah,
It like does such a good job of making you feel like, oh shit. Like,
and I constantly,
even when like nothing really bad happens. After you've fallen through it at once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's annoying.
It took me a few times to realize that you could go to that little station and teleport back.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. I was like, do I just like restart?
It was still scary. I remember
it's still scary every single time. Yeah,
there was definitely times where I would try to do a clearly a jump that clearly wouldn't work, where I would fly across and kind of try to ride the gravity, and then I'd not get it, and then you'd smash into a pillar and fall into it with like low health. And
I remember, one time I like made one of those jumps because there's those like tractor beams.
Oh yeah.
I got sucked into it. I was like, yes. I feel like to me, what is like really striking about the game is like the whole thing is like this, like it more so than like almost any other game I can think of. Like it's so thematic, like it's so like focused on its themes. Like to me, like the theme is like memory. Yeah, because like everything in the game seems to like point to that, where it's like obviously you have like, the way I thought about it was like you have like two like superpowers in the game. One of them is that when you die, you keep your memories. Yeah. And then the other thing is you're the only person in the galaxy who can read what these other people have left. Like the only person who understands their memories essentially. And like you're like figuring that out and like assuming the memory of like that lost alien race, Yeah. And then and then like at the end, like at the very end of the game, after you go to the Eye of the Universe and like you have that like weird like trippy experience like around the campfire and everything, where it's like, I mean, you could almost see that as like that's like your memories, like I don't know, like that's like your consciousness like being like sucked into the universe or something. I don't know like how you want to think about that, but like, and then you as the player because you find like after that happens, the universe still explodes. Yeah. And you as a player are the only one who remembers. like everything that came before because it's a new universe.
Wow, yeah.
Like I just thought that was amazing. It's like I feel like a lot of games have like cool stories, but like they're not like
Yeah.
so like I feel like that's like literature.
Just by the nature of the whole core mechanic of the game being the transfer of information.
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah.
it is inherently literary in a way that like,
And it's inherently about not just like your character's memory, but like
Yeah.
you literally have to remember
Yeah.
the stuff you see. Otherwise, it's like, okay, I'd have to go there again and figure it out. It's like, exactly. If you, like you were saying, if you forget the game, then you can play it again. We've already kind of talked about this, but just like bring it back to like Miyamoto a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, okay, I have another thing to talk about after that.
Yeah, I mean, I do. It is, especially when you bring up the Galaxy thing, where it was so clearly, like, directly inspired by that.
Yeah.
It really does just have the spirit of a Nintendo game in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Where it's just like playing it is the point. Like the fun is the point. Like or just like running around and like exploring is like the whole point of it. That seems like very Miyamoto.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
brand.
literally driven. The whole point of the game was to have you be driven by your own curiosity, which is like essentially what Miyamoto talks about in those early episodes.
Yeah,
that we did
when we interviewed him.
Yeah, we talked to Miyamoto,
and he also talked. Oh, this is an interesting thing. He talked about specifically being disappointed with Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
and like the direction that Zelda was going in. And while they were working on it, he specifically didn't play Breath of the Wild because he didn't want to be influenced. Because like I think he knew that like they were trying to do a similar thing, you know? With that game.
It really is similar. Yeah,
so
especially in that
he was
aspect.
like, you didn't want to like, so he waited until they finished it to play.
That's really smart. That was the right call, I think.
Yeah. But okay, my question we'll end on is, what do you think they're gonna do for the next game? Like. After this, like
I never even thought about the fact that they must be working on something new now.
Yeah, I mean they've had 2 years since. They
got to be started on something.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't necessarily expect anything soon since they're such a small company.
I mean, let's look at the timeline that this game came out on.
I mean, I think I have to imagine a lot of that is just they had never made a game before.
Yeah, and they were building up a company, so that's you know. I don't know. I mean They could. I could see them definitely going for something similar, like curiosity based. Maybe even using that same kind of mechanic of like information based, progression. But at the same time, that feels like something about. I feel like they would view that as too simple. You know,
yeah, I know.
I could see them trying to challenge themselves more
for sure,
and maybe it not this. I mean. This really, it could be a one-hit wonder kind of thing where it's like maybe this was such a great idea that came together in such a perfect way that they couldn't quite make something up to that standard, at least not right away.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, it's so good. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's really hard to say because, like, they really, like, there's nothing else to base what else they would do on besides this, basically.
I think I would imagine my best bet so that people can listen to this later and say if we're right. I think it's going to be something with a similarly novel concept as this, but totally different.
I could even see it still being like an exploration based thing, but still being completely different.
Yeah,
like they're it not just being like a walking simulator essentially. like I could see them like we've like figured out how to do that. Now let's like kind of put like more elements into it almost. Yeah. But I don't know. Like what makes it so crazy, I feel like what makes Outer Wilds so crazy a lot of the time is all like the space and like physics weird stuff.
Yeah.
But like all the crazy ways they play with like time and space. That's like I can't see them topping that. In that same way. So I feel like they can't do another like space game.
Yeah, for sure. And so they'd need to come up with a new kind of like base mechanic that would be as fun to just play around with as that is.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that it's probably going to be once again very writing heavy and very literary in the way that one was, because that's obviously like by far the strongest suit.
Mm-hmm. They did a good job.
They did a good job. Good job, guys. You nailed it.
Okay. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for tuning in.
Make sure to follow us on Gameography Pod at Twitter.
Gameography. Follow us on gameography.pod at Twitter.
Yes, you know what that means. And then our next episode is going to be Super Mario Bros. 2. I wish he actually said that. Like he says it in like 64 and stuff.
Oh, but it would have been all like lo-fi. That would have been great.
Yeah. I actually kind of dislike that they do that all the time. Like,
yeah.
At the end of Galaxy, he says it like made me cringe. He said like it's either like before credits or after the credits roll. He says, "Thank you for playing my game."
Oh, yeah. Oh, doesn't he say that in another one?
He probably does, yeah. It's kind of dumb.
I don't like that. Yeah, and I don't like how in Odyssey he says Super Mario Odyssey. It's like, we get it. You're trying to make a thing happen.
Yeah, like every time I don't like it.
I like it in Sunshine, though.
Does he do it in Sunshine?
Super Mario Sunshine. I don't know.
I think the only one I like it is 64.
Yeah. Super Mario 64. Does he say that?
Does he? I don't know. Well, anyway, we'll find out in a later episode.
So tune in
to that. Goodbye.
Bye.